Stugotz has been screaming for the better part of 50 minutes that Roy has to give us his top 5 condiments. So we are going to do that right now, and then we are going to go to Billy in the kitchen, and then Amin and Tom are going to join us from Summer League.
I wrote it down on a sticky note. Roy's top 5 condiments.
Well, you've been saying it pretty nonstop here during commercials every other time. You want your top 5 condiments. So let's start with number 5, Roy. Roy's 5th best condiment.
Actually having OLI. Sweet relish.
Wow.
That's a strong.
Excellent.
OLI.
You got 5 better than that?
Terrible.
Yes, I got 5 better. What?
You said terrible.
Terrible?
It's his list,
you don't
Chris.
like sweet relish on a hot dog?
I'm
No?
with Chris.
First of all, is there a difference between relish and sweet relish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweeter.
I just didn't know if all relish I get on a hot dog is sweet relish. Like, I didn't know if that,
No, there's different types of relish.
Okay. I don't like any relish.
All right,
Oh,
good.
okay, there you go.
Well, you haven't tried the sweet relish. You
That's
just
true. But if I don't like
I think
regular
you would
relish,
like it.
I'd knock it till you
does
try it.
anyone hate regular relish and like sweet relish?
That's a
I
good
feel like
question.
if you're in,
I
you're
think
either in
people
or out
can.
on relish.
No. I think
I don't want to do it with my arms. All right.
someone out there has to like sweet relish and not like regular
Put it
relish,
on the poll,
right?
Chris.
Text us.
Does someone no? Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Text us.
What are you doing?
Text like
At the text
67974
machine?
and the
Just
plumber's
you
remember
number
that?
is .com
Personal
text line.
text?
I got that sponsored.
954-6. Billy's probably freaking out right now. Not doing it again, Billy. I've given my number before.
Put it on the poll. Does anyone who dislikes regular
Wait.
relish like sweet relish?
One time I gave like 5 of the numbers thinking people wouldn't figure it out. And they did.
Do you think certain people like mustard or don't like mustard but love honey mustard?
I might be in that category.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
despise. I like honey mustard's okay for me, but not a big mustard guy.
You might like sweet anything, Chris.
Sweet guy. Yeah.
This guy gets
Except
it.
Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum.
Number 5.
Maple syrup.
Oh, wow.
Good.
It's a good one, Roy.
Wow, I don't think of syrup as a condiment, but I suppose it is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Number 4.
Gochujang sauce.
I don't know what that is.
Bless you.
It's a it's a Korean chili paste. It's pretty good. Smoky, sweet.
Now you're just doing a thing.
I'm not.
No,
just
that
doing
sounds
it.
pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I
Because
use
you
it.
don't know what it is doesn't mean it's not a great condiment.
I use it for my turkey for Thanksgiving within the beer.
Look at
injection
you.
I use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number
Wait, beer?
Yeah.
You put beer in your Thanksgiving
What's the motion
turkey?
you use
Yeah.
to inject it?
Don't make that motion again. Hubba hubba. Number 3.
Hubble, hubble.
Soy sauce.
Wow. Interesting.
Number 2.
It's a tie for number 2. Spicy mustard and Christmas.
Spicy mustard.
I'm sorry to interrupt and run across the hall, but if a condiment's so good, you use it more than once a year.
It's a fair point.
No.
Good reason to run in the room, frankly.
No, it's so special that I use it once a year. That's how special it is. How about that?
I'm with Billy on this,
Yeah.
I think.
You
Number
figured maybe if you like it so much, you
if
would
it's
find
in
other
your top
ways to
5,
use it.
you're going to
Yeah.
have it more than once a year.
Maybe around June, you'd be like, you know what? Gonna have it again.
Nah, it's too hot for that.
Have it for dinner tonight. Just do it tonight for a random
Let's get
reason.
wild.
I'll
It's
do
probably
it.
good on anything,
Sure.
Roy.
It's in
you
the
know?
fridge. I'll do it. Yeah.
All
sure.
right,
got a
let's
picture.
do it. Yeah.
Don't threaten me with a good time, says Roy. I am going to do it. I can
How do you
choose.
pronounce it? Gochujang?
Gochujang.
Gochujang. All right.
Yeah.
And the number 1 condiment, according to Roy, is
Barbecue sauce.
Sweet baby Ray's.
Oh, yes.
no
Absolutely.
ketchup, no
best.
mustard, none of the classics, huh? None of the classics, no mayo, none of
We had
these
that
things.
gotcha gogwing thing. I mean,
Pretty sure that's how you said good luck to Justin Timberlake.
Hey,
Hello, Roy. I'm sorry. Hello,
Oh,
Billy.
Billy.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
hi,
I was
Dan.
That's a
confused.
big find.
Well, he hadn't
Wow.
announced who he was yet, so I didn't know. I didn't
hey,
know.
it's Billy. I get Roy a lot, though.
that's
Dan.
why he does it. Yeah.
Dan, you're missing a great one on First Take today. So Dominique, our friend Dominique Foxworth, is in today, and he didn't start out the show. He was bumped to the B segment, which I don't know if he took too kindly to. And he came out before a question was even asked, and he just started giving takes. He said, by the way, guys, I was watching the commercials, and I saw an ad for the Derek Jeter documentary. Derek Jeter's overrated. I know that he was going in with the intention of just poking the bear today and trying to agitate Mad Dog. So he just decided to share, you know what? Derek Jeter was overrated. In fact, he's the Robert Horry of Major League Baseball.
Oh, no.
Big shot Bob.
Wow.
Wow, he's just doing it
mean,
gratuitously, totally.
The captain.
Totally gratuitous, trying to agitate Mad Dog. Did it make his head explode?
Out of nowhere. And then before Mad Dog could even say anything, he said, in fact, A-Rod was much better at baseball than Derek Jeter was. Mad Dog hit him with the first of many oh my gods, completely exasperated. And then he started listing all of Derek Jeter's stats, his hits, everything that he had done in a career. And then, again, before they could get to the first question, Dominique also said, and also, I'd just like to say, Kevin Durant would crush Larry Bird. He would cook Larry Bird fried chicken. And Mad Dog once again screamed, oh my God.
So it seems like Dominique had a game plan going in to really poke the bear today. Now, Billy, I don't mean to betray any confidences, but you have done some insider reporting on perhaps one of the panelists today on First Take.
Perhaps I may have reached out to someone that was not Chris Russo and said very early this morning at around 6, you need to just kind of poke the bear today. Oh, there's a truck here honking its horn. I said, you need to poke the bear today and try to just get him as agitated as possible. He said, absolutely.
Oh, wow. So you have had your influence
I don't know that it
felt.
was me. Well, look, Dan, I didn't say who it was. It could have been Louis Riddick, who was also in on the segment.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are two great ones, though. To say to lob at Mad Dog in a Wednesday in July.
Before question number 1 was asked.
To lob at
It's
him.
got to be a Wednesday in July.
Jeter's overrated. You're coming on the First Take lobbing grenades. A-Rod is better than Jeter is a factually accurate statement and would make him insane.
Well, and Durant is better than Bird. He did not take too kindly to that, and we'll get back to that in just a moment. So then they actually got to the first question, which was ranking. It was the quarterback rankings that came out lately. And the rankings were Aaron Rodgers, number 1, Mahomes, number 2, Allen, number 3, Brady, number 4, Burrow, number 5, Stafford, number 6. Now, Mad Dog is not a fan of that. He said that someone keeps honking.
What is going on outside?
You're by a pool is the weird.
Middle of the street.
You're nowhere near a street.
I'm
You're
reporting
nowhere-
live from New York outside of the First Take
The
studios.
thing about you is you're further from cars than anyone in this studio. Like
I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on over here.
It's the
Dan.
rare time, though, one of these reports has had actual atmospherics to it. That it's like it would actually seem like this would happen during a stand-up report. Keep going, Billy.
So Chris Russo said that he can live with Mahomes at 1, and he can live with Mahomes at 1 and Brady at 2, but there is no circumstances in which you can have Aaron Rodgers ahead of Tom Brady. And then he started saying over and over again, did they miss the San Francisco game? Oh, Frankie's here. Okay. So then Dominique, they were going back and forth, how you can pick out different games, pick and choose. Dominique's getting very upset by this, as is Louis Riddick. So then Dominique told him, well, if that's how you're deciding who the best quarterback is, then Stafford would be the best quarterback because he won the last game. To which Mad Dog was kind of in a corner, but he said, you know what? You might be right about that.
Wow.
Oh,
What?
that's. I mean, you
Never
don't
heard
admit to-
Doggy say that.
Well,
Giant
then Mad
concession.
Dog was getting upset. He was getting upset by the fact that Dominique kept pressing him. Papi, come on in if you like. You can join the shot if you want. Don't worry about that. So then he said, hey, Dominique, life on the line. Would you take Tom Brady or would you take Aaron Rodgers? Papi, would you take Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? Come here for just a second, Papi, over here. That's the camera. We're on live here.
Flip it going. I think that I'll take Brady, though.
Brady, if your
Yeah.
life was on the line?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
All right, Dan, if Papi's life was on the line, he would take Tom Brady, so don't worry about that. Then they kept talking about ranking quarterbacks, and Mad Dog said, when you rank quarterbacks, it's about intangibles. And Aaron Rodgers quit. He's watched him quit in many games. And then they were just going back and forth about that a little bit. And then when the segment was over, before they went to break, after they were going back and forth talking about quarterbacks and quarterback rankings, out of nowhere, Mad Dog said, let me tell you one thing about Larry Bird to Dominique, which had nothing to do with what they
He
were
was still
talking about.
thinking about it. They moved on to other subjects, but Foxworth had bothered him so much that he had to circle back around on Bird.
And this was about 15 minutes later after they had 30 other conversations. He just didn't like the Bird thing. He goes, let me tell you one thing about Bird. If you think that Kevin Durant could beat Larry Bird, you're out of your mind. So then they're reading promos for something else, and then Dominique's just talking over and screaming over everyone, just saying he will cook him. He will cook him. And he'll eat him like a bird, is what he was saying. Back to you.
I have further details from secondary First Take correspondent Ryan Cortez, who says that Dominique Foxworth has also said to Chris Mad Dog Russo that Otto Porter is better than Bob Cousy.
Oh, wow.
Great. He's hitting him where it hurts.
He is throwing haymakers. He's urinating on the desk of First Take. He's urinating on his Wednesday at the instigation of Billy, who was just texting Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick?
Maybe. It could have been Dominique. Could have been Louis.
You mentioned cooking him and eating him like a bird. I love that earlier in the show, Stugotz, because I am someone who gets fooled by ball sack and butt crack sports, and because ESPN now gets fooled by ball sack and butt crack sports, that I actually got it wrong earlier. John Morant did say he would cook Michael Jordan. He did say that
So what
part
was
of
the
the
wrong
quote
thing?
to Taylor Rooks, that he would just be another superstar today. That he would, the fake quote, I was saying that the real quote was fake. He did say he would cook him, but he did it under the guise of, I have to feel like that against anybody I would play.
Right.
That I would cook.
He shouldn't feel like that against Jordan. He's wrong. I mean, Josh, show some respect.
I just want to read a headline from The Spun where John Morant says that he makes his thoughts on Michael Jordan very clear. And I know that he has made his thoughts on Michael Jordan. This is where ball sack and butt crack and all this stuff, they do a great job of obfuscating and really make me distrust what I read, because now I don't know which detail was the correct one. And it makes me sad.
I love that.
I
love that after segments about Woj.
Somebody tuning in for the first time in 10 years is really confused right now.
No context. Just.
Where are we getting our news from nowadays?
Who's ball sack? Who's butt crack?
It's like who's ball sack?
Who's ball sack does a great job of obfuscating.
No, the ball sack. Wait, what? What butt crack?
What a time. We're finally here.
We've arrived at Stugotz's dream landscape. We're finally at the place where Foxworth goes on First Take and just doesn't care what he's saying at all. He's just trying to agitate Mad Dog.
He could literally credit a ball sack if he wanted to.
But like the notion that I could even say ball sack and butt crack without context, and it would sort of be representative of a news outlet, is patently absurd, right? That I could just say, oh yeah, that ball sack thing, like as if that's a normal thing you'd say in casual conversation.
It is the greatest of art in sports that they could keep fooling people with butt cracks.
Can they stop though? I just want to know what John Morant said.
Right.
Can I just know what John Morant said? I feel bad for Taylor Rooks, who probably did a great interview with John Morant, and the only thing that I know about it is that her interview got ball sacked.
The man who's not afraid to say penis on national soccer broadcast just got scared of using ball sack as a verb.
I might as well just say scrotal sack from now on. I mean, it's anatomically correct, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
It was good for Taylor. It was all good for Taylor Rooks.
It's not.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
He
why.
doesn't want this.
Getting ball sacked was good. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
If it was ball sacked and not butt crack or whichever one it was.
Butt cracked.
John Morant talked to her for an hour. John Morant can be a challenging interview because he's not there to expound on things. He's there to answer your questions. And the league, he's a young star, and the league's game, his game, will allow him to be super famous. But and his personality in some ways, but it's not necessarily his interviews because he's got swagger. But he talked for an hour, and the only way it gets this kind of attention is if ESPN makes the mistake that it did. And Taylor objected to it publicly and said, this is not what Josh said. And she was bothered by it because she's like, I want people to be comfortable talking to me. It's a safe space. And she was bothered by it. And then ESPN and David Jacoby specifically had to apologize for it. But a lot of Stephen A. Smith has been fooled by it. I've been fooled by it. Kendrick Perkins has been fooled by it. Stugotz would if he read. He'd be fooled by it if he was getting. Stugotz is immune to this. This is why he says, "Finally, we've arrived in the place."
It's amazing. I'm so happy.
I'm better off not reading because if I don't read, I won't be ball sacked or butt cracked.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. Reading overrated.
My father is here. It's very exciting. I know he's here because he smells like cashews. He is ready to, he loves coming in here, grabbing the cashews and chewing them up. Have you noticed that he smells like cashews, Stugotz?
I have noticed that, yes.
Every Wednesday, we're delighted by the scent of Cuban cologne. What kind of cologne is that you've been wearing all your life, Papi? What is the delicious cologne that you've been wearing?
Oh, 4711.
4711.
4711, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
There you are.
And that is your scent. That is the scent of sensuality.
That's right.
My father's here, and I have a question for him. But first, Stugotz is having great fun. Billy, he's gotten in on your game. He is bombarding Dominique with grenades to roll at Mad Dog's feet.
Papi is?
No, Stugotz is.
I am.
Stugotz will not stop texting Dominique. What have you sent him to agitate Mad Dog?
Well, Dominic loves it, and the reason I'm still texting him is he's asking me follow-ups to help bolster his argument. But I told him his favorite team of all time is the San Francisco Giants. So I said, trot out top 5 Giants of all time and leave out Willie McCovey and Willie Mays, and you will see a head explode.
But how is that going to happen when the topic is surprise Lamar Jackson is not ranked in top 10?
Dominique takes topics. He goes with things he wants to go with. He is not – listen, Dominique does what Dominique wants to do. All right.
Okay, but
and if
Billy
he wants
is saying,
to steer at the top 5 Giants, he'll figure out a way.
Okay, well,
he's a very smart
he says
guy.
he's going to cook bird. He is indeed a very smart guy, and we will continue to monitor what is happening here as we continue to try and infiltrate First Take. Dominique several times has dropped his head into his hands. He is he's doing very cartoonishly outsized reactions to everything Mad Dog's saying. He's there purposefully. He's in character. He's in full costume. And it is a delight to see. I don't know how much more information we can give the audience on this, but we can't give them enough.
He's not playing defense that JJ will do sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, Dominique is not in there to prove Mad Dog wrong. He's there to see if he can give Mad Dog a heart attack on air.
and Jay Williams has gotten knocked out of the way, correct? Jay Williams is getting dominated here because they're enjoying the sparks of Dominique, purposely making chaos of the situation. But, Papi, before we get in here and have you do Refrán del Día, we have 2 of Meadowlark's best employees in your video. You can look in Roy's camera over here, Papi, and you have the 2 Meadowlark employees who are at Summer League. Can you tell the audience who is there in the camera that you see, people that you have met many times?
One of them is Amin, right?
Oh, okay.
That one of them is
Yep.
Indeed Amin.
Who's the one on the left?
And the other one is
Mm-hmm.
Haberstroh.
It is Harbstro.
Harbstro, yes.
Thank you for
Harbstro.
that. Yes, Gonzo, that's good. It was in
Perfect.
there somewhere.
Was
it is
close enough,
What is
right?
his first name? That's his last name is Harbstro. What is his first name?
His name is Tom.
Yes!
Tommy Harbstro.
Yes, Tommy
Yes.
Harbstro is with us, joining
It's a good
us.
hockey name.
Bobby, come on in here. It is a good hockey name. I want to do the thing that is great to do in sports media, which is take the thing Andre Iguodala said on your network and then make a day of content out of it. So, Tom and Amin, Andre Iguodala saying that Rasheed Wallace, if he was playing today, would be better than Giannis Antetokounmpo, and if he had been coming through, funneled through the system, playmaking, different style of basketball, taught not the post, but bring the ball up. How good would Rasheed Wallace have been during this time if he had been taught differently?
Damn, Rasheed Wallace is one of the most brilliant basketball players to ever play. He's underrated by most fans and people outside of the game because they just don't know. All they know is the technical fouls and, leaving Ginobili in Game 5 of the NBA Finals in 2004 or 2005, excuse me. But the reality is this guy was a basketball savant, a basketball genius. He saw the game in a way that nobody else saw. He knew everyone's position in every play of the other team. He would explain to players on the other team when they were in the wrong position, no, you've got to stand over here, then to set the screen down here, then pop out here, and then you've got 3 options. He would explain their play coming out of the timeout to them. What Andre Iguodala was talking about was the combination of Rasheed's just overall intellect and skill level. This is a man who could not only shoot right-handed or left-handed, he could shoot 2 basketballs at the same time from 3-point range and make them both, right? This is skill, talent, IQ, everything you want to call it, length, obviously size. But then you say, I put him in today's game where those things are valued, and he wreaks havoc. Someone said he's like a tough Karl Anthony Towns. Well, Karl Anthony Towns is already a top 10 player in the league. Make him tough. I see what Iguodala's talking about. Is he better than Giannis?
Yeah, see that? Okay,
That's the
okay.
part
All
where
right, you said all those things, but we're not putting him above Giannis Antetokounmpo, who won back-to-back MVPs and already won a title.
Right.
He's one of the best of all time. So if you're putting him above Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're saying he's a top 10 player all time. Rasheed Wallace in today's era. I'm sorry. That's
what Andre is saying is if you put him in today's game, the accolades he would have gotten would have been much greater. Remember, he played at a time, this is with the power forwards in the league when Rasheed Wallace played. Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Chris Webber, Dirk Nowitzki. And when at that time, when they were all playing at the same time, people didn't know who the best one was. It was like, I don't know. It's one of these 5 guys. So it is not out of the realm of imagination that if he played in today's game, he would have been racking up more accolades than he did. Now, the counter argument isn't that, well, that would mean he's one of the top 5 players or whatever. The counter argument is Rasheed Wallace didn't want to be a star. He wanted to be one of the guys. And I've talked to multiple guys who played with him in different places, and they all said the same thing. Rasheed wanted to be one of the guys. He didn't want the responsibility of being a star. He could take over and go toe-to-toe with a star on a night-to-night basis, but Rasheed loved playing the game the right way. And for him, the idea of putting himself above everybody else and being better than everybody else on the court, that wasn't appealing to him. So that's the thing that I think would have stopped him from being better than Giannis, because Giannis wants to be the best player on the court.
So what you're saying is Rasheed Wallace doesn't have a cold-blooded assassin gene in him?
No, it's not that, because he'll do it. It's just he doesn't want to do it. Like, there's a part of him that doesn't want to do it.
Well, I mean, but that's something that's held against Kevin Durant. Doesn't want to lead. Guy doesn't want to be a leader. So tell me, give me all the guys, both of you, between you. Guy who doesn't want to be a star, just wants to be one of the guys, and therefore isn't regarded or isn't as good as he could be because he didn't want to be a star.
Well, I mean, I would say Durant wants to be a star. He just doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want to have the responsibilities of, like, holding people accountable and telling them what to do. He's like, who am I? I'm just here to show up and work hard and play. And Kevin, but within the context of playing basketball, Kevin does want to be separated from everyone else. And that's what makes Rasheed so different. You ask me who's like that.
Well, Karl Anthony Towns is a lot like that.
Is he?
A guy who wants to get all the accolades but doesn't want to actually lead the team and be the leader in the locker room. And that's what Jimmy Butler was going at him about, is being a grown-up, and he wasn't that guy.
And that's what Anthony Edwards has now become for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But what Dan is asking is someone like Rasheed, who's like to the point where even the way he plays is like, I don't believe in stardom. I believe in equal opportunity.
What Amin is saying is usually viewed as an indictment, not unselfishness. I mean, Rasheed gets to be unselfish now. In fact, Rasheed's reputation has always been selfish because he gets the technical fouls, though basketball people know that's not true at all. It's just not true.
Okay. So, Dan, you'll love this. I talked to Chauncey Billups the other day, and he told me a story about playing with Rasheed. He said Rasheed always played his best after he got teed up. Like, that's when he always, like, excelled. When he got teed up, he'd get mad, and then he'd start playing, and he was unstoppable. So he said they're playing a game, and I can't remember the opponent, but it's one of those marquee opponents with a great power forward. And they're losing. And this guy's having the game of his life, and Rasheed is kind of just going through the motions. And so he's talking, as he always does, to the refs. And look, Rasheed, when he talked to the refs, it was anything but respectful. It was just everything goes. I got another story about how Rasheed talks in a second. But anyways, Chauncey says to the ref, I can't believe you would let him talk to you like that.
Trying to get him tech.
Do you hear what he's saying? Oh, my God. Like, you shouldn't let that go. You shouldn't let that slide. Ref tees him up. Rasheed goes berserk, plays out of his mind, destroys the opponent. They end up winning the game. And like, that's the level of Chauncey Billups and the rest of the Pistons. They knew this dude was at his best when he was unhinged because he got teed up by a ref.
It is funny that Sheed's skill set is better suited for today's game than the actual time when he played. But just so we're clear on what Iguodala was doing, if he says Karl Anthony Towns, he doesn't make news. He says he's better than Giannis. He's everywhere. Thank you, Amin. Listen,
That's
Iguodala is a
open.
cagey vet. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he picked the exact right person.
Who are you thinking of there, Tom or Harbstro? Who are you thinking of when I say to you, guy who didn't want to be a star, but if he had wanted to be a star, good God, we would have regarded him more highly.
Wow, when we were talking about Draymond Green, Rasheed Wallace, I was thinking about Draymond Green and how his basketball IQ and his provocateur on the floor and always getting underneath people's skin and doing the right play as opposed to getting the accolades. He reminds me a lot of Draymond Green. Like if you put Rasheed Wallace in today's game, I think people would love Rasheed Wallace so much more. Before he was pre-social media age, and I really think that is a real disservice to his legacy, because if he was in today's era, I feel like people would worship him at the altar of Rasheed Wallace. Because like Draymond Green is a guy who does all the right things. He's a provocateur. The referees hate him, but he ultimately is all about winning, just like Sheed.
Yeah, I got a name for you, Dan. You're not going to like it, but I'll give you the name anyway. Derek McKee. That was a guy, when I talked to guys that played with him, he said this dude had all the talent to kill everybody on the court, but just wanted to be one of the guys. And so never kind of rose up. But Derek didn't have, I think, the talent level that Rasheed had, or the kind of reputation of being just head and shoulders. Dan, I wasn't exaggerating. This man literally grabbed one of our players and said, we called the timeout and told, hey, it's a play. Guy comes out of timeout, he's in the wrong spot. Over there. No, not there. There. And then Rasheed was like, he wants you to go here. He wants you to screen for Steve. Then you're going to pop out. Then you're going to go here. You're going to screen for Raja. Then you're going to have the ball over here. You could throw to Raja. You could throw to Steve. If no one's guarding, you could take the shot. And we're all just like, yeah, pretty much what he said.
He was teaching. You're with the Suns. He was teaching a guy. Tim Duncan would do some of that, correct?
To the opponent? LeBron's the only other guy I've ever heard who. I'm sure there are more. But LeBron, the one that I'm always reminded of, LeBron against the Raptors, when Terrence Ross was about to inbound the ball and they had 6 men on the court, he said, no. You'll get teed up. He stopped them. He didn't want the cheap technical foul. He stopped them. He had the presence of mind, first of all, to count how many guys were on the court. It's like, there's 6 of you guys. Number 2, he had the decision of just letting it go and getting a free point. He's like, no, too cheap. Hey, Terrence Ross, don't want to get you in trouble, man. Hold that inbound. Now he's off the floor. Okay, buddy, go ahead. It's another level of IQ, of recognition, and then being able to make the decision that, like, I'm going to help them out, because guess what? It's not going to save them in the grand scheme of things.
I was going to say, the wheels are turning in Stugotz's head that LeBron is helping the opponent. He's not a killer, not an assassin out there. Doesn't want to win enough.
Well, Jordan would never do it. I mean,
we'll get to your Jordan thoughts in a second, but you were going to tell us how Sheed talks. You were going to tell us a story.
Okay, so we're playing the Pistons, and Rasheed Wallace is in prime form, MFing every ref on every call, and not just, hey, where's the effing call? It's like, you blind, stupid mother effer, what are you looking at? Glenn's Craft is closed 2 hours ago. You could have gotten that, like, just going off, and we're just playing. Amari Stoudemire goes up, gets fouled, no call, misses the layup. Action's going the other way, goes, F! And the ref goes, tee up. What? He said, showing up the ref disrespectful language. And we're like, dude, have you listened to Rasheed Wallace all game long? Has been running commentary, not just cussing, running commentary. And I shit you not, the ref says, yeah, but that's just how she talks.
He does talk to himself. There are a handful of guys that fuel on the rage. I was curious. I mean, we have not talked about this, and I wanted to ask you of the back and forth. Draymond, because, Tom, you mentioned Draymond, he apologized for going after Kendrick Perkins with a word that is racially loaded, and I assumed that a whole lot of people got in Draymond's ear and just said some form of, hey, Draymond, black people need to not be doing that to black people on television, no matter how much we're hot taking around here. How did that's where I thought the apology came from. Your thoughts?
So that's not the first time we've had that kind of controversy with the Golden State Warriors. Remember when Shaquille O'Neal was on JaVale McGee's ass every day with Shaqtin' a Fool, Shaqtin' a Fool, Shaqtin' a Fool. They've had these issues with media people where they feel like they're being unfairly picked on, and somehow conflated that with some sort of step and fetch, shuck and jive for the man or whatever, as opposed to, no, this is just some dude who's critical of you, and you can't accept that for whatever reason. The reality is, I love Draymond Green. I love Kendrick Perkins. I don't agree with everything Perk says, but there's a difference between saying you don't know what you're talking about or you're absolutely wrong and making that leap towards someone who, again, just like Rasheed Wallace, Perk has a reputation in this league as a player that everybody loves and respects more than anything. What did David Griffin tell you, Tom, about Perk?
Perk, he's invaluable. I mean, you could put a number on it because there's actually contracts put out, but he said, I actually called Kendrick Perkins an LVP. I wrote a column arguing that he is the least valuable player in the league because his statistics show that he is hurting his team continually on an individual basis. But what the Griffs of the world are telling you and other players are telling you is that locker room value, invaluable, priceless. But then they put him on a veteran minimum contract. So if I was Kendrick Perkins' agent, I'd be like, you're saying invaluable or $1.6 million? Very different.
Who is today's LVP, Tom?
Haslam.
Oh, come on.
What do you mean?
How dare you?
It's Victor Oladipo. It's got to be.
That's a great candidate.
Just say Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo. He dips his way into the plus minus, and then he waltzes away with my drugs.
Why again would you reference Jack Palance and your Tango and Cash impersonation?
It's been a long trip here, Dan.
Dan, let me say something real quick. Before I don't know who you're beckoning to in the back over there. Just hold your horses.
Whittingham is what I was referencing. I was trying to get to Whittingham, and you should regret that I never got to him based on the impersonation that you just did.
Amin hates immigrants, aggregators.
Yes.
Get to work.
Tom Haberstroh, if Rudy Gobert is worth 4 first-round picks, 3 of which are unprotected, how can the Utah Jazz even begin to have a conversation about Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I think what they saw with Kevin Durant and all the stalled trade talks, and that the price, the asking price was way too high on Kevin Durant. Danny Ainge said, after what we got for Rudy Gobert and the fact that all these assets are being offered to Kevin Durant and they're not biting, I need to get in on that game. And I think this Kevin Durant thing could go on for months. Right? It could go into training camp. It is absolutely a game of chicken. And I think Danny Ainge is looking at this and saying, I can get every single one of the New York Knicks draft picks. They have 11 first-round picks going forward. Some of them are protected. But if I am Danny Ainge, I am going to the Knicks and getting every single one of their draft picks that are able to be bought. And I don't like RJ Barrett's game compared to Tyler Hero or OG Anunoby. If they're going to put in a young future player into that deal, I don't like RJ Barrett as much as those other 2 players in terms of getting it for Donovan Mitchell. But I'll tell you this, you're not going to be able to compete with New York Knicks' draft pick haul. That is going to be an incredible one if they can get it.
Do you guys remember in Peanuts, Lucy would just set up that stand and it says like advice or whatever for 5 cents? Justin Zanuck, who's the GM of the Jazz, has set up a stand like that out in Vegas here at the Wynn. And teams just come up and they say, hey, how's about this or that? Look, one of the things that is kind of bizarre, the other day someone asked Justin Zanuck on the record.
That really fell apart, the whole Charlie Brown thing, huh? That this and that.
Nobody watches
He
Peanuts.
punted on it mid-sentence.
I watched Peanuts, but it didn't have a real payoff. So there's a stand.
He's taking trade requests from all the teams. But here's the deal. I've never heard this before. They asked him straight up, is Donovan Mitchell untouchable? And this man said, no. I mean, like, hey, you got a deal for me? And so it set off flares all over the league. We all thought they were going to hold on to Donovan and build around him. But he basically let the vibe be known that, no, this guy's available if you come with a correct deal. And so that's what's been happening pretty much all week here in Vegas.
And the reporting now is that Kyrie Irving has not actually demanded any kind of trade and would be fine going back to the Nets and playing out the season.
Well, Tom, can you envision a scenario where Durant and Kyrie stay with the Nets? That's it?
No, I can't. I think the Joe Tsai and that organization is so done with Kyrie Irving. I can't see Kyrie Irving coming back to that organization. At this point, it's just posturing. Like, someone leaked out to the newspaper reporter, the beat writer, hey, can you somehow just say it's possible that Kyrie Irving just stays with us so that the Lakers throw in another couple picks in that deal? To me, that's all leverage in that play. I don't think Kyrie Irving is – there's no chance, zero chance.
Tom, is there anyone we could possibly talk to about that situation, about the Nets' appetite for keeping Kyrie on the roster? Maybe perhaps on a podcast on this network we could
all right, back
maybe
off.
on a podcast that dropped today.
Basketball Illuminati, you could check it out and you can find out more information on that if you want. Also, Tom and Amin will have more coverage on Friday. They will have stuff that they've been doing all week from Summer League that you will get on Friday. Thank you, gentlemen. We have to get to Refrán del Día. Appreciate it.
You don't have to do anything.
Basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati.
I do have to do it. That's Amin and Harbstro. You can find them on Basketball Illuminati. Let's go ahead and do Refrán del Día. My father's been waiting patiently here. Papi, how did you feel about that segment? How did you feel in general? You looked terribly bored. You didn't look interested. You looked like you smelled like cashews, and you were looking at me like, can we get on with it already? The star is here. Why am I still waiting?
Well, I think that they're going to stay with the Nets anyhow, so it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, those two guys are full of shit.
Exactly.
We sent them out to Vegas. They didn't do any original reporting. My father says everyone's staying in Vegas. Let's do Refrán del Día.
That was stupid.
This is all stupid, Bob.
Dímelo, mi gente. I love to just get lost in the music a little bit. You know, it takes me to another place. Bobby, does that music take you to another place?
Oh, yeah, sure.
See?
Yeah, Calle Ocho.
Exactly.
Middle of Calle Ocho.
Exactly. Mid 70s to early 80s, somewhere around there, right, Bobby?
That's right. Mid 70s, early. Yeah, something like that.
Exactly. Thank you. Let's spin the
My
wheel.
father's not helping you a whole lot there. He's just agreeing with you. And
I mean,
he's
listen,
a little rusty.
In his defense, it did not require a follow-up. He already agreed. I mean,
All right, so it's Tony's fault.
I'm not sure why we went to
What
decade.
else is new, Dan?
I love you, Tony.
Let's spin the wheel.
What else?
Spinning. Spinning. Big one today. Very exciting one today.
I don't believe you.
No, they're all exciting.
Billy, you're the one who
It's always a big one.
Billy, you're always undercutting this. How do you feel
Is it
about
the same thing as usual?
It's
Just this guy,
either
really?
this guy, yeah.
No,
It's gonna
it's
change
not.
the game.
No, it's
this
not.
segment? This
It's not.
segment has to
Yes,
be
it
better
will.
than this.
It's not. It's not. Poppy,
No.
When he said I got lost in the music, I was wondering if you're going to get lost in the forest today.
No, that was one of Lewis's again. Poppy, here it is. You ready? Today's refrán is alabao.
That's a good one. Wait a minute. That's a good one.
Explain to the people.
I don't know how
Alabao.
you're going to explain that, Papi. Billy, I don't even know where to
I
start.
would love
when-
this explanation.
I need anyone to
Curious.
explain alabao to me. I don't know how to explain that.
Maybe, oh my God.
Yeah. That's it. That's
Okay.
oh my God. It's like alabao. Oh my God.
My God, this guy.
No,
It's pretty simple.
This guy neutralizes it. No, you just need alabao. Like Chris Cody me tiene. Oh my God, alabao.
Oh my God.
What does the word mean literally? Alabao literally translated. My father is was a translator, a professional translator in court. That if somebody were
Wait, what?
What?
Well, that's new.
Well, I did very little translation, though. They never called me for any assignments, anyhow.
Attaboy.
Wait a minute. You were a court translator they never called to translate?
Yeah, I kept waiting for that phone call to arrive, and they never did.
Do they pay you, though? I mean,
My father trained for the job, and I don't believe was good enough at it to land the job. My father at one point, is that correct, Papa? You wanted to work as a professional translator.
Yes, but that's tough. It's very tough.
But he didn't. Like that's like me saying I'm an NBA coach. They just haven't called me yet.
But he took classes. How many classes did you take, Papi?
Oh, I took classes forever.
You didn't train to be an NBA coach, Billy. He was taking a course, but I still don't know what the direct.
Are we sure he was going to classes or maybe?
Yeah, I was going to classes, and I was taking all kind of courses, and you know.
but you were actually hired for the job?
No, I wasn't hired. I was told, hey, you can expect the phone call any minute now. That minute never came.
You're still waiting.
I'm still waiting.
I'm worrying if the word of the day was actually lechero, and that's what was going on here.
Oh, lechero.
Is that cheating?
What's a lechero,
Oh my
Papi?
God.
Well, lechero is a milkman, really.
They're accusing you of cheating on mom with not going.
What milk are we talking about?
Who said that?
Who did that?
Billy is accusing you of not going to the translating classes and instead having a torrid affair.
No, that never happened.
I believe him.
You want me to get in trouble?
Why would you get in
Billy's
trouble?
fault.
Billy's
You're
the
just
one who
going
made
to
Billy
you-
didn't do anything. He
What's
said you were just
happening
delivering
here?
milk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I was un lechero, I guess.
You got your confession, Billy. I still don't know what alawao means, though. Translate it. Oh my God is a good translation, but it's a word that's just nonsense.
There is no literal
You
word.
will not find that
translates
in a dictionary.
Yeah, I found in a few different places. One says something you say when you're surprised or hear something strange. Another, this is more like slang that directly means "oh my God" or "what the hell."
Yep.
Way to go,
Exactly.
Poppy. Way to
that?
go.
See
Way
that?
to go. You are a good translator.
Oh my
The
God,
court
you know?
messed
they should have
up.
called you.
Yeah.
That's right. They should have called me. But the call never came.